tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, where your host, Annette Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns. Christians suffer from mental illness. Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need Annette? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Well, great afternoon and welcome to another wonderful session, a special segment of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. And I am your host, Annette Harris. I want to thank you right now for joining us on today, for watching and or listening. I know you guys were looking for me at about 3 o'clock, but we are here now. So when you come into the live feed, go ahead and like and share for us. You know, I normally start my shows off with a word of prayer. We're going to do that today. Lord, we thank you for this wonderful day, for how you've blessed us to see it. We actually ask that you would word our mouths and give us what to say in the name of Jesus. For mind, body, and soul is the first part of Hosea 4 and 6. And it states, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. And again, we are glad to be here on a Friday. It is maybe I can say my off day, but we're doing a special segment on today. And I want to let you know there are 3 different ways that you can listen and or watch us on today. I do have my Facebook live feed going. Annette, known as Annette, is the page. And then also you can listen to us on the station's website, which is IntellectualRadio.com. All one word, IntellectualRadio.com. We're also on YouTube live at the present time. And if you go to YouTube and if you type in the acronym for the show, which is MBS, WANET, Get Caught in a Net, you will see us there live. And I want you guys to join us on today. Do not be shy. Come on in and welcome my guest, Mind, Body, and Soul Style, as I always ask you all to do. Please do that for us on today. I am going to, let me see, how can I do this? I'm excited on today. And I want to maybe introduce, I actually have my sister here on this afternoon, and she's going to do a little co-hosting with me. She's been doing that quite a bit lately, hasn't she? Well, once or twice before. Gwen Gaston Gray is in the house. How are you on this afternoon?
I am absolutely awesome today. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm excited.
Well, I am glad that you're here. I see them popping in on Facebook Live. And I have in my midst a wonderful woman that I actually met over the telephone. Just had the pleasure of meeting here on today. And you are looking at, or you will hear her in a few more moments, Monique Manigault. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Perfecto.
Oh, wonderful,
Perfecto.
wonderful. Let me give you a little bit of information about Miss Manigault. She is a transformational speaker. She's an attorney, an author, and a life and business leveraging strategist. She is the founder of LeverageUpNow.com and the creator of popular programs, like Leverage Up Business Breakthrough Boot Camp, the Leverage Up Academy, and Leverage Up Your Life. Through Monique's life story and lessons, where she defied the odds and overcame tremendous obstacles, she has been able to assist people from the place of being stuck to catapulting them into their own defined greatness. Using what she has learned along the way, Monique taps into people's divine passions and desires and assists them in reaching their ultimate goals. In addition to leading workshops, seminars, and speaking throughout the country and abroad, Monique maintains a private coaching practice, working one-on-one with her clients and coaching them on everything from leveraging current relationships and increasing sales to overcoming challenges that are blocking their growth. Monique has a nationally syndicated television show, Women on the Move. And again, welcome in our midst, Monique Manigault. How are you doing this afternoon?
Oh, I'm wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. It's so great to be here.
Sure. I'm so glad you're here. So glad you're here.
Thank you.
She's beautiful too. Tell you,
Thank you so
my sister is
much.
gorgeous.
Oh, thank you.
So we want to get started today on talking about number one, why you're here in Chicago.
Yes.
give a little bit of information about Monique. I did just read her little bio, little clip there, but in your own words, a little bit about yourself. And I want to know how we even got to this point as an attorney. How did you get to the point of creating the Leverage Up Now and the
Sure.
whole business aspect of it? So
Yes. It has been a interesting journey for
okay,
me, a very interesting journey. I've been an attorney, a New York attorney, for almost 20 years now.
You're not that old.
I am that old. Can you believe it? I am.
you look great.
Thank you. And so blessed to be able to say that, because that was one of the challenges I had to overcome in my life, just even believing that I would live this long. And I'll share some things about that later.
Oh, please do.
But
Okay.
I started out as an attorney 20 years ago, and I came from an entrepreneur family. Both my parents, my mother and my father, are entrepreneurs. And so I believe it runs through my veins. I couldn't avoid it even if I tried hard. And as a result of that, and assisting my family with their businesses, I knew that I wanted to be an attorney. I grew up being an advocate for those who were voiceless, who didn't have an opportunity to speak. More importantly, were not able to be heard. And in doing so, when I became an attorney, I knew that I wanted to be able to assist people at all levels. I myself, unlike many people that I went to law school with, I knew that I would only practice law traditionally, in the traditional sense, for a season. I knew that what I wanted to do with my law degree was far beyond the courtroom, and that I wanted to use it as a tool to help grow entrepreneurially for myself and for my family businesses. And so that's what I started to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wonderful. You look like you were inspired over
Yes,
there.
absolutely. You know what, Monique, go back a little bit, and this is something that Annette can attest to, but it's
Sure.
something that I've been preaching or saying, or maybe even trying to convince myself
Mm-hmm.
for at least a couple decades now.
Yes.
I truly believe that entrepreneurial spirit, it runs through the bloodlines. I truly believe that with all my heart.
Yes.
Our parents were entrepreneurs,
Oh,
and
wonderful.
you find yourself, after college, you kind of find yourself, working in a traditional job,
Or stuck.
or stuck in a
Yeah.
traditional job
Yes.
or capacity.
Sure.
But that bug is always there.
Always.
It's like that, something is just gnawing at you.
Yeah.
I'm back in that position. I do have my own business now, and have had it for a few years now.
Yes.
But I'm actually working in another capacity where I am beholden, if you would,
Sure.
to the powers that be, and I am so uncomfortable. I'm just going to be honest with you. So talk a little bit about why you believe, as I believe,
Mhm.
that runs in your family. It's a familial thing. Explain
Sure.
that, if you would.
Yeah. We are customized, I do believe, in lots of ways. We start with certain things that we come here with, that we kind of show up with, but then many parts of us are developed through our environments. And so I grew up in a home where my parents were entrepreneurs. And not only were they entrepreneurs, but they were sharers of information.
Yes.
Which is so valuable.
It's key.
And I, have a newfound appreciation of it now as an adult. Growing up, I didn't really understand how powerful it was. But I grew up in a space where my parents would bring people into our homes,
Mhm.
friends, family members, all sorts of people, to just teach them about starting their own business. My family is also a real estate family, real estate investors,
Mhm.
investing in real estate, growing wealth in real estate. My mother came from Wall Street. She retired from Goldman Sachs. So all about the financial elements.
Absolutely.
And when you are in such environments, when I was younger, I didn't understand that there weren't a lot more families like that.
Mhm.
I came to learn that as friends would come over and they would hang out with us and they would hear our conversations. My dinner conversations were quite different from what I learned others to be. And so around my dinner table, we would talk about what type of business opportunities exist, where we saw gaping holes
Wow.
in certain neighborhoods, in certain environments, so that we could create a business to fill that gap. And so I think, having those conversations regularly and consistently being nurtured in a space of knowing that I could do anything. There were no limits. I was only defined by what I allowed or not allowed myself to do.
Yes.
In the outside world. And if it didn't exist, I can create it and make it happen. I think that really set the foundation for everything else that I was able to create in my life.
That's awesome. And you know what sounds like that's the difference between transformational and motivational.
Yes.
Talk about that. You are a
Yeah.
transformational speaker.
Absolutely.
Talk about the difference between that and just motivating.
Sure. Motivating is really about being able to kind of get someone riled up and, excited about certain things that may be possible. Transformation for me is really about injecting new ideas, new concepts, new fundamental teachings that people can start to adapt, understand, and then start to process in their own lives so that it really, really transforms their lives from the inside out, as opposed to just kind of temporary words of motivation that I think at some point end up fading away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely. That was great.
Thank
I
you.
enjoyed that question because I was actually kind of thinking a little bit myself as I was reading a little bit up on you. I said to myself, she's very giving and unselfish because a lot of times, and we'll just be real,
Yeah.
if we're doing well for ourselves, sometimes we don't necessarily want to see anybody else doing
Sure.
well.
Yes.
And I'm like,
Specifically our community.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
And I was trying to say it nicely, but but that's
Keep
where
it
I was
real.
going with that.
Yeah.
But and then I think of you, and you're here in Chicago, you're
Yes.
doing seminars and workshops, and you are transforming, you are sharing, as you mentioned about your family, your
Sure.
parents. They shared.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I admire that. I'm glad to see that it's happening.
Yes.
Because too many times what we can always say, we're crabs, in a
Yes,
bucket, always
unfortunately.
trying to pull each other down
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
instead of pushing each other and encouraging each other.
Sure.
And
And-
showing each other.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is what you're doing. And so we appreciate that. And I
Thank you.
want to commend you on that.
And can I just say something
You
about
may.
that? Because I think it's really, really important. And obviously, that is who I am from where I come, right? That was really hugely, created as an example for me and continues to be. My parents are still very giving in that way. But the bigger principle for me regarding that is that I know for sure that what's for me is for me.
That's right.
And what's for me has nothing to do with what's available for you.
Sure.
And you getting yours does not diminish what God has given for me.
Amen.
And so I feel the more you give, the more you do, the more you help people to be elevated, to leverage up, to get where they want to be in their goals and their divine destiny in their lives. That just helps to support me in whatever it is that I do as well.
I love that mentality.
Oh,
I love it.
Thank you.
Let me interject. I see individuals here on Facebook Live, and I must give a shout out because I do appreciate you all for coming on. Again, this special segment. Demetria, I see you on. Aura is watching. Deanna, thank you for watching. And Curtis is on. Curtis Shaw, all the way from Memphis, wants to tell you hello, Gwen.
Hello, Curtis.
Sir William Hunt, thank you for watching. Beatrice, Tennille Jackson is on. Tracy Kincaid, Angela, and Janice John. I appreciate you guys. Other names that I do not see, please forgive me. I'm going to try and announce them as I see them come in. Tennille says, so true, it's enough for everybody to win. And as you were talking, I was actually thinking about you, Tennille, as Monique was talking. He has actually established this women's group on Facebook.
Oh,
I'm
wonderful.
glad to be a woman is
Beautiful.
her is the name of this group. And I as she was starting it, I said to it and I felt it in my spirit. I said, you know what? Because this was around the Black Women's Expo here in Chicago when she started up. I said, I just feel in my spirit this is going to be bigger than that. And she said, oh my God, I receive it. And she goes to the Black Women's Expo. She's an, award-winning author and everything. But I'm talking about her because she has this giving spirit and she wants to share. She wants to push and promote. And, I was thinking about her as you were talking
Yes,
about
yes.
yourself. And I think that's just so key. is
For
very
sure.
key, especially among us
I
women,
agree.
Yeah.
African American women.
I
Yeah.
agree.
You know, there again, there's too much of the pulling down. There's too much of the, why does she put those shoes on with that outfit? Well,
Mm-hmm.
or something,
Yeah,
silly or
superficial.
simple,
Superficial.
right?
Yeah.
Like that. But if we can encourage each other, we can, be there to hold each other up.
Because
And
there is so much to go around.
there is.
Absolutely.
There is. And I love the way you said that. So,
Thank
okay.
you.
And you know what? We have questions for you on today. We want to have you talk. But what I want to hear about,
Hmm.
what you started off talking
Yes. Yes.
about you, and you said you didn't know if you would get to this point in your
Yeah.
life. If you would not
Absolutely.
mind sharing that with us.
Sure. Sure. So I come from a family, actually on my father's side, where we have lost a great deal of young people.
Mm.
Young people. We probably have lost more young people at a younger age than we have older people over the years. And when I was growing up, I had asthma really, really bad. And most of the people, particularly when I was younger, that would pass away that were younger, were people who had asthma. And they would die from asthma attacks.
Wow.
And because I had it so bad, and because everyone around me was dying from it, I mean, it wasn't, there are different levels of asthma, right? Some people have mild cases, some people have more severe, but my family members had very severe cases of asthma. And my immediate family, my parents, my siblings didn't have it at all. So I was very unique in that way. And so I just always thought that I would never live that long.
Wow.
And my godmother, Denise, she actually gave me my name, Monique. She passed away at 21 years old. And because of that, 2 weeks after her wedding, I thought that I wouldn't make it to 21. And then I made it to 21. And then I thought, okay, well, I couldn't make it to 25. And I made it to 25. And then I made it to 30. And then I wouldn't possibly make it to 35.
Wow.
And then I made it to 40. And then I made it to 48 years old. That's what I am right now. And so the fact that I sit here at 48 years old is nothing short of a miracle to me, because I just never thought I would be here this long.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so the fact that I am here, what I know for sure is that it means that I still have work to do.
There you go.
And so I walk in my work, and my work is my life. And the truth of the matter is, I'm very grateful for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Thank you.
I'm grateful too. I got a chance to meet you.
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Were you going to say something to
No,
that? Or
Well,
okay.
let me just add this. I think
Please
it's interesting because people always ask me, how have you been able to do so much in your life? Right. So the things that you read and many things that you haven't. I'm a former recording artist, grew up singing, received my first contract at 13 years old. And then I stopped singing for many years, and we're actually back in the studio working on a new project, inspirational project. But I think that a big part of why I have done so much is because I wasn't really sure how long I would be here. And I wanted to make sure that everything that I had to give, I did on this journey. And so I think that's why it happened. And so the fact that I teach now the Revenue Revolution Tour, the Leverage Up Your Life Tour, both of those programs, both of those workshops, and all the things that are connected to them, it's all about growing at top speed. And so my clients, we have conversations. What came first? Was it the programs at top speed, or was it me at top speed? Definitely me at top speed. I don't always share the why, but the why is because I didn't know if I would be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. You had a great story.
Thank you.
And yes, I agree. You have work to do. You have work to do. So I believe this is why the Lord has blessed you to still be with us. And 48 is young.
Yes, 48 is young. 48 is young.
You look great. Let's see. Oh, Tanil says I can totally identify with that. She's a young woman, and unfortunately, she has experienced strokes in her life and other medical issues. And Tanil, if you want to list them out, you can. And she shared that, so I haven't
Sure.
told anything that she doesn't want anybody to know. But she's saying she can identify with that and do what she did. Hashtag do what you can while you can.
Absolutely.
Definitely, definitely. Elder Kevin McGee, I see you on. Thanks for watching. A little bit later, we're going to play a spoken word. Elder Kevin McGee normally pins a spoken word for Mind, Body, and Soul
Oh,
weekly
that's wonderful.
in relation to the topic of the day. So he
Yes.
does have something for us on today. So we'll make sure we play
Fabulous.
that. Yes, definitely. Let's see here. You wanted to,
Yes,
I hear it in your voice.
Yes, yes, yes.
She wants to hop
What
on
did I say
in.
when I was coming?
in.
Before I came, I said to Annette, I said, well, let's do Q&A. Like
Awesome.
Right.
that's a lot of fun. So I
Definitely.
enjoy that.
Absolutely
good.
awesome. Well, you know what? A lot of us, the term is not necessarily new for a lot of us. For others, it may be or maybe not fully understanding the definition. But can you define for the listeners the term leveraging?
Yes,
What
yes.
exactly does
Yes,
that mean?
thank you so much for bringing that up.
Yes.
And I actually give a definition to it when we're doing our workshops. So when I talk about leverage, what I'm speaking of specifically is the ability to be able to use systems, strategies, people, organizations to be able to move faster, expand quicker than you would ever be able to do on your own. And so through the Leverage Up programs, that is what I teach. I teach on being able to use all of those elements to expand you in your business and or your life at a greater pace than you would ever be able to do without them. That's leverage.
Here we go.
Love it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you for that question, because that was in my mind as well for you to define that for us. I want to let you guys know that if you want to call in, you can. I know some of you have already submitted your questions, and we will have those read and answered on today. But you can call in 708-223-8953. Again, 708-223-8953 if you have questions for my guest on today. And you heard her just say she loves question and answer sessions.
I do.
So you can ask away on today, of course, in relation to today's topic. You know, we're not going to ask any personal questions because I'm going to stop you there.
Let's make that perfectly clear.
Right, definitely. We'll make her feel comfortable on today. So let's see. I believe I can start off. I have a few questions from an entrepreneur. She is actually a professional photographer.
Wonderful.
Awesome work, if I must say so myself. It's not me, but I mean, it's someone else. Her first question, she says, why is it important to hire a professional like yourself for personal branding as opposed to trying to do it yourself?
Oh, goodness. That's a mouthful. That's a mouthful. And the reason I say it's a mouthful is because entrepreneurs are so good for trying to do it all themselves. And the fact of the matter is that you just can't.
Right.
You really just can't. Annette, you read the scripture that you wanted to lead with, and it talks about the lack of knowledge.
Yes.
And one of the biggest reasons why businesses fail, actually, they say it's the number one reason, American Express says it's the number one reason, is because of lack of knowledge, the lack of information. It's the only area in which I know of where people think that they can go into it without any training or information, just hang up a sign like they're in business and they're supposed to be successful. It's illogical. It makes no sense. Every job has training involved. There's some level of training for you to be able to do what you do well, to be able to learn what's necessary for a particular industry. And so, although you can attempt to do branding on your own, you would need to understand all of the intricate pieces of branding, what the purpose is of branding. You know, I said last night at one of the events, we had our first event on Michigan Avenue, right? Magnificent Mile.
Yes.
And I'm looking at you because I'm making sure I'm saying the right thing. We had it in that area, and the people came out and we were talking about branding. The magic of branding is that if you have very good branding, you can get business that you may not even deserve.
Wow.
That's the power of great branding. That really is. I shared a story that I experienced. We run Facebook ads a lot. And we have had wonderful, tremendous opportunities from just having Facebook ads running. And I received different offers from a particular campaign that was going. One was that I was hired by the city of Cincinnati to deliver a keynote speech to the city downtown. They built this beautiful stage in the middle of the city, and I delivered a speech solely from a Facebook ad, right? What is that about? That's about branding. That's about branding because they didn't know me, they didn't talk to me.
Right.
They looked at a Facebook ad. I'm sure they went and maybe looked at a website, and then they offered me a job. They offered me a position. Another offer, two more I want to share because I want you to see the power of it. The second thing that we were received from it was an offer to speak at an event in LA. There was already a very well-known author. Also, many of her books have become movies at this point, that was already hired for the event. And because of them bumping into my ad, connecting my branding, they offered me a speaking opportunity.
Wow.
And reduced her pay to bring me in. And she's a very well-known celebrity. If I say her name, everybody would know who she is.
Ooh.
The last one that I want to speak to, because this shows you the power of branding on both sides, is that I received a call from someone, a star from Bravo, from my Facebook ad, right? They don't know me. They've never had a conversation with me. It's all from my branding. And they wanted to go into business with me. My branding is what connected me to them, drew me into them.
Gotcha.
Their branding is what repelled me from them, right? The power of branding on both sides.
Wow.
On both sides. And so that's why you should have a professional assist you with branding, because it's way too important for you to try to figure it out on your own.
I would agree.
I would agree too. And shouldn't we think of it, especially as entrepreneurs or when we're first starting out, should we think of it as being the president of the United States, right? We pick our cabinet based on their area of expertise. They are SMEs for whatever that is, branding.
Sure.
In other words. Now, because I'm the president, does not necessarily mean I am knowledgeable with respect to, effective branding.
Yes.
So I'm choosing that member of my cabinet as someone who can do the branding for me. So maybe our thought process should be a little bit different instead of, because we're doing this, we know everything, we know it all, or we're going to try this, or we're going to cut corners or whatever.
And especially when you're not an expert in it.
Exactly.
You're an expert, perhaps, hopefully, in taking pictures.
Right.
You're not an expert necessarily in branding because you take pictures. Now, I actually have clients that are photographers who do have some work and do work around branding, but that's not every photographer, right? And every photographer doesn't have the ability. What it really speaks to, and I'm not picking on, what's her name?
Brandy.
Brandy, this isn't personal to you. I'm speaking to all of the millions of entrepreneurs that are be able to hear this.
Yes.
What it really speaks to is the deadly sin of entrepreneurs in thinking that they can do everything. When really, the fact of the matter is, they need to become experts in what they have to be able to do. I call it the wizardry work. You have to do the work of the wizard. Focus on being the wizard and allow everyone else to be the wizard for what they have to cover. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Very well said.
Yeah.
And I think it's so important because fortunately we are in this time now where you can just hop on the internet.
Yep. Google.
You have DIYs all over the place.
Yes,
do it yourself.
yes.
Do it yourself. Do it yourself. So this is what we see all around us. So sometimes we just, I can do that myself. I don't have to. But I'm not a photographer. I'm not going to, you can do selfies all day long, but it's not going to be professional.
Not the same.
So I think it's important to make sure that you get those who are, in that area. If that's their expertise, their professionalism.
Yes. And not just with branding per se, but also with sales.
Right.
That's right.
Also with marketing,
That's right.
right? All of the things that you need to know to grow a successful business, you need an expert to teach you
That's
how to
right.
do that.
That's right.
Definitely.
You cannot do it on your own. You're doing yourself a huge disservice to believe that you can.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think the calls are coming in.
Oh.
Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette.
Hey, Annette, it's Tennille. How are you?
Wonderful, Tennille. How are you?
I'm doing well. I had a comment as well as a question for your guest on today.
Help yourself.
Hey, Miss Monique, how are you?
Hi, I'm wonderful.
First, I wanted to say congratulations to all of your many accomplishments. That is so incredible.
Thank you.
And I also want to say that I totally agree with you. And that's one of the things I talk about all the time with entrepreneurs doing their research and not feeling like that is so easy to do just because technically speaking, everybody can do it. But in that same vein, I did have a question. So Annette alluded to this group of women that I put together earlier that's called I'm Glad to Be a Woman.
Yes.
My question to you is from an attorney perspective, at what point, like, because it is more defined as a movement, is it something that I would have to create like a non-for-profit for, or is it okay for us to just stay together as a gathering of women because we meet maybe quarterly in person and everything else is just like a meetup on Facebook? So is there something that I would have to legally establish?
Great question.
It
Great,
is.
great question. Yeah, and it's so interesting because I had a person who started an organization yesterday. They went on, we talk about, do-it-yourselfers. They went on LegalZoom and started an LLC, a for-profit essentially. And which one of the problems with doing it on LegalZoom is that you really have no, you're not given any advice, right? No one talks through it with you. And in actuality, they should have done, for what they wanted to do, they should have done a nonprofit. So the answer is it really depends on your intentions for the group and what you're looking to do with it. I just flew in from Charleston, South Carolina. And I had a meeting with an organization, a group of women who they do an event. They do an event every year, and then they just pretty much just maybe have some meetings along the way, and they don't do anything else. But they created a non-for-profit because they knew that they had long-term goals and ambitions that they wanted to be able to do with the company. So it really just depends. If you're just going to keep it as a group where you're just, kind of chatting online, you're not really doing a lot else, then you don't have to incorporate. But if you're looking to kind of hold yourself out there as a business, do things, sell things, run events, all that sort of stuff, then you really want to look at having legal protection to do that in the form of some sort of corporation.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? Does that answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, it does. Thank you so much and continued success to you as well as you, Annette. Thank you, ladies, so much and enjoy
Thank
your
you.
day.
Thank you, Tennille. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, great.
All right, you guys can keep the calls coming in. That was an excellent question.
Yeah, that was a great question.
708-223-8953. Again, 708-223-8953 if you want to call in for comments, questions from my guest on today, and she is willing and ready to answer them for you. Let's see here. I have a comment here. Deirdre says, yes, what is for, okay. What is for you is for you alone. I say that all the time. If ladies really believe that, they would really prop their sisters up at all times. I agree. Demetrius is on Charleston. We appreciate you for watching. Sharon Broughton, Ken the Smalley, just to give him little romper room quick shout outs here. But yeah, that's key because somebody else may be listening that's starting up something as well. So I appreciate you for asking that because I don't know what direction she's going with the group.
Yes, right. And that's important. That's important to know. That's
Right.
important to know.
Okay.
I will also say, because she didn't go any further, I don't know if there's some other things that she's interested in doing with the organization, but feel free to send me a direct message right on Facebook, and just let me know what your goals are, or what your plans are for the next, let's say, 6 to 12 months. And I will also follow up and respond as to whether I think it's something that deserves or needs to be incorporated.
Okay, wonderful. Maybe we could interject here your seminars and that you're doing here this
Yes,
weekend.
yes, yes, yes.
We can talk about them now, and then we can mention them before we exit off the
Sure,
show as
sure.
well.
So we are on tour. I've been on tour for some time now. So happy to be back to Chicago, because I haven't been here, I think, maybe in 18 months on tour. But we have 2 events going on. One is the Revenue Revolution Tour. That is for my favorite group of people, entrepreneurs. And it's all about growing at top speed and really focusing and learning the tools and the strategies to be able to make that happen. The stats tell us that 80% of business owners in the United States do not break $50,000 a year. 80%. Wow. And that's $50,000 a year gross, not net, not after expenses, but gross. Now, what I happen to know, and the stats didn't tell me this, is not because they don't want to break $50,000 a year, right? Tons of entrepreneurs do. Mm-hmm. It's because they don't know how to. Because they don't know how. It's about that knowledge that you talked about, that you let in with. And so I believe that if they have the information, then we can see things change. And I say this as a disclaimer at the beginning of our events, I make no determination on whatever your goal number is. All entrepreneurs have different goal numbers, right? Success looks different to each of us, as well it should. One person may have a goal to make $75,000 a year. Someone might just need $30,000 a year. Someone's goal might be break $1 million. Whatever it is fine for you, right? Whoever it is. But I think what's important is that you have the information to be able to grow to whatever level it is, and that it's not withheld because of whom you are or how you look, right? And that you're able to receive the information so that you can implement it into your business, which will ultimately change your life. I know the power of what entrepreneurship could do. I know that the life that I've lived, which has been an amazing life, was only offered to me because my parents had aspirations and dreams and courage to be able to take a chance on being an entrepreneur. That is the power of it. I would have not had opportunities that I had. I would not have had exposures that I had, but for entrepreneurship. And so part of our work is to help people get the information, because I understand the power of what it can do for someone's life.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Oh, this is good. So there, I believe you started last night.
I started last night. Yes. So that was the Revenue Revolution Tour. We did that early in the day. And then we wrapped up the evening with the Leverage Up Your Life Tour. Wow. Leverage Up Your Life. And that tour, just like the business tour, is all about implementing strategies and systems to help get your life to the level that you want it to be as quickly as possible. And we had such an amazing group of women and men that came out last night to join me. And it was just such a blessing for us to be able to connect that way. And that's actually the first time I brought the Leverage Up Your Life tour here.
Yeah. To Chicago.
Okay. To Chicago.
So you will continue through the weekend here.
So we're continuing through the weekend. We are in Naperville. Naperville on Saturday. The Revolution Tour is from 12 to 3 p.m. And then the Leverage Up Your Life Tour is from 4 to 6 p.m. Okay. Totally free. Cost nothing.
Wow.
Totally free. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. I want to get to why. And then on Sunday, I'm in Matson. And we are only doing the Revenue Revolution Tour there. And it's from 3 to 6 p.m. Okay. 3 to 6 p.m. Wonderful. So feel free to, you can register at leverageupyourlife.com and or revenuerevolutiontour.com. And I would love to see you all there.
Wonderful. As you're talking, I'm going to try and put those links in so that
Yes.
they will be able to click on them. So,
Can I talk about why it's free?
You may.
Yes,
Please do.
Okay, great. So this is really important to me. This is close to my soul as to why it's free. Obviously, there are lots of people, some colleagues of mine, friends, and people in the business who give these types of informational seminars and workshops, but they have fees associated with them.
Yes.
We could have easily sold this for hundreds of dollars. However, when I was preparing the tour, remember where I come from, right? Remember where I come from, just giving free information. Actually, when I created my personal development company, it took some time for me to even be able to charge for my information because I was so used to giving so much information away. I mean, we really had to kind of structure some things in my mindset around that because it was just, I was very much accustomed to it. So I knew that I had to find a balance that felt good for me. And so we have, I have lots of people that work with me and for me, and many of them are very successful in the world of personal development. And when I was preparing the tour, they said to me, Monique, you can't have a free tour. You can't go out on the road across the country and abroad and not charge anybody. Like, you can't do that. And I said, well, why can't I? And they said, well, there's expenses and, all the things, which of course I know that they are. But I said, I'm not comfortable doing that. I feel as if this needs to be free. I feel like it needs to be free. And so they said, well, how about we just make it a low ticket price? They said, how about we just do $97? I said, no, $97 just won't do for me. No, I can't do that. And they said, okay, well, how about $47? Right? That's not a lot of money. No, I can't do $47. And the reason I was saying no to these numbers was not because, the value is not extraordinarily more significant than that.
Right.
It was because I knew that if I put a ticket price such as those on it, that there would be people who would not be able to attend. Right? There'd be people who would not be able to attend.
True.
And so then they said, well, what about if we just make it $30? I said, no, there will be somebody who will not have $30 and they will be left out. I will not leave anybody out.
Wow.
And they said, okay, we're going to do $20 and then we're going to, have them pay the $20. And then when they come, you can give them the $20 back. How about that? But at least they'll show up. And it's really to help, us count the people in the room because traditionally, particularly in personal development, the thought is if you don't pay, right, then there's no vested interest in you showing up. And so we can get a space that has, can fit lots of people and then a small group comes. And so they said, well, you pay them the $20 when they come in, they show up. And I said, absolutely not. Because there will be people that will not have $20 to loan me for me to be able to give back to them. And so that was the foundation of the tour. And that is why it is absolutely free. And I'm very happy and proud and grateful to say we've never lost any money on tour.
Beautiful.
Not a dime. And I really do believe that this new opportunity in my life with the Women on the Move has come as a result of my giving, my obedience, right? And being able to do that, because the reason that I came about to be part of the show was because someone saw me on tour. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
He will always make a way. He will always make provisions.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm getting goose pimples.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, wow. That is great. Yes. And that's not going to be the end of it.
No.
Because you have such a big heart. I
Thank you.
hear it and see it. God's going to continue to bless.
I love it.
Open up doors more than you do. I believe that. All right, let's see. 708-223-8953. Again, 708-223-8953. If you want to talk to my guest on today, you want to ask her a question, and it looks like we have a call on the line. Can someone hit the
Sure.
Yes. Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette.
Hi, Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. This is Demetria Branch. How are you, beautiful lady?
Wonderful. How are you doing
Hi,
on today?
Demetria.
I am doing well. I am first excited. If you all could just see through the phone, the excitement. I'm cheesing like a Cheshire cat right now. But and it's amazing how I was going to call a few moments ago, and when Ms. Manigault started to speak, she started answering some of my questions.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I don't have to ask that now. Oh, okay, well, I don't have to ask that now. And so, but I still have one question. One of the areas that I personally work in is branding and helping companies develop themselves. And I am networked with other businesses that do similar work. Now, my question is, when you are dealing with companies that do almost the same thing that you do, and you try to establish something beyond the scope of just, your standard network, where you're maybe trying to establish an organization of some sort, what is the best method? And I'm not trying to get, you to break it all the way down, at one time, but to establish a hierarchy, I guess you could say, because everybody brings something substantial to the table. And we all know that in business, a lot of times you have people who everyone wants to be a chief and no one wants to be the Indian. So I'm going to jump off the line so I can actually get back on the feed so I can get my response.
Okay.
Can she hear us?
Yes, when she.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Demetria, for calling in, and she'll
I wanted
respond.
to ask a follow-up question.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I just want to make sure. So you have an organization you want to start, but you want to start it with others that would be almost kind of like pseudo competition with you and your branding work. Is that what you're saying?
Well, not necessarily doing this, all of us doing the same thing, but we are like, okay, for me, I am a graphic designer by trade.
Yes.
But I also provide services as a virtual assistant, executive assistant. But then I also do financial literacy. Now, that's a lot of stuff coming at one time.
Yeah. I want to ask you something before we go any further.
Yes, ma'am.
And this is all out of love and support. And based on everything that you've heard me talk about thus far this afternoon, why are you doing so many things? Because
I'm ADHD.
Okay, is that high, or do you?
Because in all seriousness, part of it is because I am so used to having to do everything
right
from corporate America. The positions that I always held were executive level positions or assisting high executive level positions. So I have gotten accustomed to doing it. Doing it all.
Is part of it also maybe you not being able to receive the revenue that you from one, and so you're doing multiple? Is that part of it?
Part of it, yes, but not necessarily all of it, because like you, with some of what I do, I bless people with my services versus charge.
Oh, it's free. Services. It's free. Okay. So for some things you're not charging. And is it because you don't want to charge, or is it because you you don't want to charge them?
Yes.
Okay. And would you be able to maybe do more with your other revenue streams if you weren't doing a lot of the freebie work?
Well, I don't do a whole lot of free.
Okay. All right. I just want to be clear. I just want to get clear.
I do enough to be a blessing.
Okay.
But I don't do enough to turn around and be broke.
Okay. All right. So the organization that you want to start with these other individuals, what's the concern about the fact that they are working within, a similar lane as you? What's the concern? Is there any concern at all? Because you
The
mentioned
biggest
it.
concern, honestly, would be the fact that I tend to deal with people with very strong personalities.
Right. So whose
And
organization would it be? Who is the originator? It's you, correct?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so you're saying that you have these strong personalities. Now, you know that you're actually going to you're now bringing in and inviting another job, right? Another stream of work for you with this
Yes,
organization.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, now I already know, even though you don't want to admit it, you already ran out of time a long time ago. You know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
You absolutely have to be overwhelmed with all these things that you have in your pot at this time.
I'm so glad I can't see Annette's face because she's probably making a whole lot of them right now. Yes, ma'am.
I am. And so sound like you need to come see me this weekend so we could talk about this a little bit further and how we can break this cycle. Because here's the thing, this is all I want to say. And I talk about this with entrepreneurs all the time because entrepreneurs are great at having a whole bunch of things going on. Okay. Mm-hmm. But none of them are really flying. And so I just want to say to please consider perhaps putting your focus on maybe one or two things, right?
Yes,
3 being the max, as opposed to all of these things, because you are not able to fully be present in all of them. And there are things that are falling short because of it. So just consider that.
True story.
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah.
And I wish I could come. I am actually, unfortunately, in Indianapolis. So if I were local, I would definitely be on the front row or the second at least.
Okay.
If I couldn't. I'm in Indianapolis, so unfortunately I won't be able to attend, but I would definitely be there. Annette, I'm going to send Annette in my place.
So this is what I want you to do. I want you to just inbox me on Facebook.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'll reach out to you so that we can talk further.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Because I need to save you from yourself. You don't know that yet, but I need to save you from yourself.
You and Annette have been talking one-on-one.
No, we have not.
She just picked it up. She heard you.
Yeah.
She's good like that.
Sermon from her. I have truly gotten that sermon from her.
Yeah.
So
there you have it. That's confirmation. That's called confirmation.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so
much for addressing the question.
You're very welcome.
We appreciate you for calling. Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's why I'm sitting over here just smiling because you're telling her. I'm always telling her that. Always.
Yeah. Yes. I get it. I get it. I mean, we do it for lots of different reasons.
True.
Sometimes we do it to make ends meet, right?
Yes.
Sometimes we have to do it, right? Keep a job, then try to get a side hustle and all those different things. Sometimes we do it because we don't really know what we're doing, right? And so we're just spinning. We're just spinning in different directions. Exactly. Maybe something will stick at some point.
Exactly.
Right?
We don't know which way we want
Absolutely. To go. But it's important to start to pull back the layers and look at why it is we're doing the things that we do so that we can now, really be able to get the results that we want by systematically doing the things that will make a difference and move us forward in that direction and not just waste time. See, a big thing with me, I have a big issue with wasting time.
Okay.
And I think we already know why, because of what I said before. And so I don't like people to waste time on any level, especially my time.
Right.
And so when I say that, I mean time in business. That's why we're called Leverage Up Now, right? I don't want my stuff, they say statistically takes 5 years, 7 years for a business to make a profit. I'm not waiting 5, 7 years. I may not be here then, right? I want my stuff now. And so I want to be able to learn now. I want to be able to move forward now. I want my blessings now, right? Yes. There are no guarantees. And so being able to support people to make their nows better as opposed to putting it off into what's possible for later, I think is really important.
I think you will help me as well.
Oh, she's going to help all of us. I think that's probably why I was so excited she was
really
coming on
to
today.
help me. Exactly.
Thank you.
I think that's why I was excited too.
Thank you.
There's so much, and you're right. You know, procrastination takes so many forms, and we can reason things out, the way, the reason why we are putting things off, or we don't view it that way when in actuality that is what's happening, or we don't have time to do this, like you just mentioned a few minutes ago. You're doing a little side hustle, but you want to got to hang on to this, for the monetary part of it until this gets off the ground. But in the meantime, if this is taking up 15, 16 hours of your day and you don't have that much to dedicate to what your dream really is, you are in trouble.
Sure. Absolutely. You're definitely in trouble.
So,
Right.
Yeah. And you're making yourself you're taking yourself further and further away from what the goal is, as opposed to making yourself get there any closer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Gosh, you guys are all in my head right now. You're definitely in my head, because I was thinking, as all of you were talking, the hesitation, the procrastination, a lot of times it is that fear. If I let this thing that is sure go,
Yeah. Yeah.
then what?
Then what?
But I love the mentality that you have, do it now, don't wait. This is something else on today. And yes, you are definitely helping me as well.
Wonderful.
I was thinking about, and just kind of piggybacking off of that, if you're in a position, say you're working in an area, but or working for or the man, should I say, and that you're supposed to be an entrepreneur. Know this. And then things maybe start happening on that job that are not maybe stressing you out, not going well. It's like things are happening one right after the other.
Yes.
And then you're like, okay, this is where I really should be doing my own thing. But how do you really kind of get out of that?
Loose.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very difficult for many people. And the first thing is that you have to have a game plan, right? You have to have some sort of roadmap about what exactly it is that you need to do, want to do, and what that looks like. A lot of times people want to create businesses and they say what they want to do this, but they don't even have a clue as to what that consists of and what that looks like and what's required from that. What I know for sure from working with thousands and thousands of entrepreneurs is that, and people in general, it's just part of the human condition. We want lots of things, but very few of us are willing to do what's necessary to achieve them. Okay? Because when you start talking about what's necessary to get there, they start dropping like flies. Yeah. They start dropping like flies. And so I would say the first step is to know and to figure out exactly what it is you want to do and what that looks like. What's required for that? How much money is it going to take to start up? Here's a big news flash for entrepreneurs. Businesses need money to grow. I'll just stop right there for a minute.
Let it marinate.
Because so many businesses and business owners come along and feel as if they don't need to put any money into their business for it to be successful. And that's a joke. It's ridiculous. You're doing a disservice. You really are. Because if you do not fund a business financially, soon that business will die. It will die. And I always say that if you do not like the state of your business, if you're not happy with it, look in a mirror and thank yourself because you have yourself to blame.
That's right.
Right? Because if you don't know certain things, it's your responsibility to go get the information. Right? It's your responsibility to go hire who you need to hire, do what you need to do. And that's going to require sacrifices. And we didn't talk about that yet.
Right.
You got to make sacrifices.
Yes. I think, you're absolutely positively correct. There are those of us who are actually afraid of what it will take to get to that level. But the flip side of that is there are those of us who we have a little bit. We've realized a little bit of it,
Mhm.
and we're content with that mediocrity.
Absolutely.
You know,
Lots of people.
And so we're in that rut.
Yes.
We're not afraid of what, to put into it or what we have to put into it, but we've done a little bit, we've tasted a little bit, and then we just become okay with that little bit.
It's gonna die out there.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Gonna die out there.
Yeah. That's me.
Yeah, I know you're talking about yourself. I know you interrupted us to say that for the benefit of yourself. I understand, and I hear you, right? And so then the question is, how bad do you want it? Right? How bad do you want it?
True.
Maybe that's just good enough for you.
No.
Right? What does it look like to you? We're motivated by our emotions.
Mm-hmm.
When our emotions are involved is when we move in one of two ways, whether it be positive or whether it be negative.
Wow.
Right? And so when we use our emotions to our benefits to be able to identify something, right? Something that we want to do, something, feeling that we want to have, something that we want to do for our family. Usually we have the ability to do more, be more, and give more for the benefit of those we love, even more so than for ourselves.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
You'll do for your children what you
All the
won't do for
time.
yourself. You'll do for your parents what you won't do for yourself.
your
You do for your
spouse.
spouse because you worry they might leave you. No, just kidding. Because you don't for what you won't do for yourself. And so it's really important to learn what motivates you. And that's something that we dig into in leveraging up your life. And then using that to catapult you where you want to go.
Mm.
Yeah, catapulting you. I want to just finish up your example about the person at the job because it's important.
Please do.
I think that when people have full-time jobs, it's a beautiful thing for an entrepreneur because you can use that full-time job, right, to buy you right out of that job with your entrepreneurship, with your business opportunity. But you can use that money that you're receiving at your job to fund your business until your business can carry itself. But you can only do that if you are very disciplined with what you do for the money. And when I say that, what I mean is you have to make sacrifices because you're going to have limited funds to do what you need to do to live and then to have the money to put into your business, right? So I have had clients who have cut off their TVs, right? Cut off their cables, cut off their extracurricular activities so that they have the money they need monthly to feed their business. I've had clients who've taken in boarders, rented out rooms so that they would have a few $1,000s a month to be able to do that, right? I've had people who have picked up another job, and that extra job's money is the money that they need for their business. Sold a house, moved into a smaller apartment, all to save their business.
Wow.
And once again, it comes down to how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it?
Yeah, then you have to get out of the mentality. You're used to a certain amount of money coming in.
Yeah.
And it not being touched or
That's
whatever.
right.
Sacrifices.
I am a real estate broker. I am a former home builder. I'm a real estate investor, and I was tremendously affected by the Great Recession. And I had my businesses that I still had to run. And, while all of this mess was going on, and me having to fight with banks, I was stuck with brand new homes, one day valued at $500,000, next day valued under $100,000. And I had to deal with the fallout of all of it. And I still had to run my companies and funnel money. I didn't go on vacation for 13 years.
Oh, wow.
For 13 years, I didn't go on vacation. Not because I couldn't if I didn't take the money from something else, but I had other things I needed to funnel the money to. And in my mind, taking a vacation was just not that necessary, right? It just wasn't. I turned in my car, it was a lease, and I, gave it back. The lease was up. And instead of getting a new car, I decided to drive my other car, which was 13, 14 years old, and did that for years because that was a sacrifice.
Yes.
Instead of paying $1,000 for a new car a month, I take that money and put it into one of my businesses.
Yes.
But that's the sacrifice, right? And so it's all about what you're willing to do. right? So that you can get what it is that you say you want. I don't believe what people say they want. I believe what they show me they're going to get.
Woo.
Yeah.
Actions speak louder than words. All right, all right. ALH Enterprises is watching. Thank you for joining us on today. Pastor Tyrone Gaston, I see you on. Thanks for watching. Ivan Jones. I saw Sir Walter Jones on earlier. Thank you for watching. And there were other names, so forgive me. Brandy did jump in here. She's actually doing her photography shoot today. So she jumped on real quick and she was enjoying what she heard while she was on. So let's see here. I do have other questions here. But you know what? I think, do you have the spoken word ready for us? I think my producer has it ready. Let's take a listen to the spoken word, and then we'll come back for a few more questions before we exit on today. Take a listen.
When you look at me, what do you think you see? Is it someone who has it all together, never had a problem, test, trial, exempt from tribulation? You see me now and you think you know me, but to know me, you must understand where I've been and how I barely made it to where I am. You see me now, you see the glory, but you don't know my story. You don't know what it took for me to get here. You see, I could have given in to the despair and depression. Matter of fact, depression had me on speed dial, but I had to become tired of that rut. R-U-T. Are you tired? And I got tired. Made up in my mind that no matter what happened, I would not be stopped. Had to realize I was fearfully and wonderfully made. For I live beyond the body. I am the embodiment of knowledge, creativity, harmony, something that this world cannot afford to lose. And so I chose to become a better me, reconstructing obstacles and not letting the obstacles reconstruct me, and making over situations and not allowing the situation to make me over, to become something I never thought I could be, an instrument of motivation that stirs minds and empowers others to dream big. And through it all, I shall thrive and survive, for my path cannot be turned. I am becoming what I am destined to be. And if you wish to know my name, look it up. I'm in the book, Webster's to be more precise, but get the spelling right, because when you spell my name, there's only one way to spell it. S-U-C-C-E-S-S.
All right, all right.
That was great.
Yeah. Elder McGee, you did it again.
Awesome.
You did it again. If I could snap with my right hand, I would do it, but I just do it with the left. Awesome. This is wonderful. Aside from saying it's awesome, any other thoughts on the spoken word? Either of you two?
I thought it was perfectly fitting for what we've been talking about here.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah. Creating yourself.
Yes, for sure. Great stuff there. A message to Neil says she has to sign off, but she will watch the replay and she will be inboxing you.
Wonderful.
Soon.
And
yes.
And please catch Women on the Move.
Yes.
This Sunday. I think it's Sunday, 1 p.m. It's either on Fox or on a Fox affiliate. So just look for it in the program guide.
Wonderful.
Here in
Okay.
Chicago.
Here
Yep.
in Chicago.
We're airing this Sunday.
This Sunday.
Awesome.
All right. And Sunday is the 19th,
Yes,
right?
the 19th.
May 19th. So you guys look for Monique and Woman on the Move. And this, I'm going to see if I can tune in.
Yes,
That's if I'm not there at the seminar on Sunday. Let me see.
Oh, it's after.
Is it after?
It's one. It's one. And
Okay,
then I'm
okay.
at 3.
You're
You
at
come to
3.
me 3. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, well, that's great. Great stuff. Did we say the exact location for tomorrow? You said Naperville, right?
Naperville. Of course, I don't know the exact place. It's a country club there.
Okay.
But if you go to revenuerevolutiontour.com and register, you will get it. You will get the address in your inbox. And Mattson, I believe, is at the Holiday Inn Plaza. It is not in the Holiday Inn. It's actually in the office building. There's a location above the restaurant there where we will be holding the event.
So
and Mattson. That's on Sunday.
That's probably Bar Louie.
Oh, yeah. It's above Bar Louie.
Above
In the office building. Yep.
Oh, okay. Wonderful. All right. I'm typing in here Revenue
Revolution Tour and Leverage Up Your Life.
Okay.
.com.
All right.
While you're doing that, can I
Yes.
just speak to fear? Because you brought it up.
Please
Yes.
do. Please
I think it's really important. It's something that I've had to deal with throughout my entire life in some capacities in many areas of my life. And it's something that we all do as humans. I love to give the example of fear using Oprah Winfrey. Now, we know Oprah Winfrey to be a talk master, right? I mean, what conversation can she not have? What speech could she not give?
Yeah.
And I recently saw her in an interview, and she was talking about the fear that she had in giving the commencement address at Harvard University.
Wow.
And you think,
Oprah?
Oprah? I mean, okay, it's Harvard. Okay, it's a commencement address. But how could Oprah be nervous about that? Right? All the talking that she has done for all the years, the decades, which goes to show you that if she can even experience fear at this point in her career, absolutely, we will continue to experience it. And we all will on some level. And you really have to learn how to use fear to make you better, to, make you more on point, to make you well prepared, as opposed to using it to reduce you. And so as entrepreneurs, that's why for me, I always go to my inner self. I believe that we're all instructed, we're given the map of what we need to do in our divine living. And if you go there to that place, right? And oftentimes it may be contrary. I've had the experiences where everything that you see and that you may know is contrary to what your inside tells you, right? So I'll give you an example. I was told when I was young, in, I guess, elementary school, right after they wanted to skip me, that I had some sort of writing problem. Those words would send me into a writing depression that lasted for well over a decade.
Wow.
So much so, I was told pretty much, don't worry about going to college. If you do, go to community college. And I went to college, and the fear that was instilled in me essentially showed up in my writing in a way that I was essentially academically suspended. Not once, but 2 times.
Wow.
From college.
Wow.
2 times. So at that point in time, I had no evidence that I would be able to return to school and academically soar. But I knew deep inside that that was not the ending for me.
Yes.
And that everything that I had seen, I could achieve if I just went back and believed. And God would use an angel to come my way and speak different words of affirmation around my writing. And I went back to school and I became an A student. And my writings went on reserve in the library for other students to observe.
Wow.
and to read and to model their writings after. I went on to be a reporter for a newspaper, an author. Obviously, I went on and fought my way to get into law school, and I sit here as a New York attorney. But at the moment in time where I had to set the path to get back on the academic train, there was no evidence that was shown to me that would tell me that I would succeed.
Wow.
Other than the message that God had given me,
Faith is the substance.
that it would absolutely come to pass.
Right.
And it did. And so you have to go inside
Yes.
to really be able to affirm what you should be doing on the outside. Because if they're not in alignment, it will fail.
It will fail.
It will fail.
And that's also knowing your worth, correct?
Sure.
Even
Your
though
value.
everything you saw spoke otherwise.
Absolutely.
You truly believed deep down.
I knew I was greater.
Absolutely.
I knew I was greater.
Beautiful.
That's tremendous. And again, as you're talking, I'm thinking about something.
Mm-hmm.
When I returned to school after about 10 years, sis, to college, I transferred universities. And I remember sitting in there, and I think we had our first test. All the anxiety came back.
Yeah.
And I realized I have test anxiety.
Sure. Fear.
And that's how it was when I was younger and
Yes.
coming along. And I didn't really put, like a name to it, didn't really
Right.
realize it.
Right.
And I remember literally sitting in class because they would give you the exam. And then, at that time, I'm much older than the rest of the students.
Mhm.
Almost as soon as they sat down, they're done. And I'm sitting there like, wait a minute. So I literally had to talk to myself. No, you're going to sit here. You're going to take this exam. You're going to take your time, even if it takes the entire, hour and a half.
Yeah.
And you're going to do this.
Sure.
And so I had to literally, like you were saying, get in touch with you, talk to
Sure.
yourself. And I talked to myself and I submitted my paper. I think I was probably one of the last ones to submit, my exam. Got an A on it. And I looked at it and I said, I can do this.
Right.
Honors when I graduated.
Wonderful.
High honors. And I just thank God for it, because it catapulted me, and I thinking, okay, you can do this. You can do this.
Absolutely.
So
yeah,
that's wonderful.
Thank you.
So thanks for that.
Yeah.
Thanks for that. Oh my goodness. I know we're going to be wrapping up soon. It sounds like you want to tell me something
I
else.
just wanted to say, and we all have it. We all
do.
have it. We don't all necessarily have a relationship with it,
Right.
in which we listen to it and are obedient to it. But we all have it. And so you really have to start to still yourself. I heard recently Dr. Jamal Bryant, who's a pastor at New Birth now in Atlanta, and he was talking about, he did a series, I think it's still going on, where he's talking about meditation. And oftentimes, particularly in Christian churches, they don't want to talk about meditation because they somehow see that it's anti-prayer.
Right.
But it's totally different than prayer. And he articulated the difference and basically referred to the meditation as allowing yourself to be still so that God can speak to you. And so you can learn to build that muscle. And I believe that your greatest successes are on the other side of your greatest fears and the greatest challenges that you have to face. And I don't know how you get to the other side if you don't use that divine guidance that is leading you on the inside.
Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Let's see. Let me ask you this other question here.
Yep.
For small business owners, what are some tried and true do's and don'ts for posting on social media?
That dreaded social media. Goodness. Well, there are a few things. I first want to start with, for those who are entrepreneurs who are listening to me, who hear me at some point, please know this. If you are not making money currently on social media, and you are having issues around finances and revenue, do me a favor. Get off of social media. That's the first note. Because the vast majority of entrepreneurs do not make money on social media. I'll tell you what they do. They waste a lot of time on social media when they could be making money. If you do not currently make money on your business, now there are certain businesses that need social media that it's helpful for. So we went through some of these last night at the workshop. So let's say if you are a jewelry designer, right? That's helpful, right? Instagram that's where you want to be. If you are doing things that are visual, makeup artist, all those sorts of things. But most businesses are not constantly and consistently getting clients and customers online through social media. So get off of it. Now, if you are already at a place financially where you're fine and you're just working on getting to the next level and you want to build your social media and your online presence, then that's different. But for those that are struggling and need finances, get off of social media because it's not the fastest way to the money. The fastest way to the money is being able to connect with people person to person. It's a much faster, easier sell because online, people don't believe you anyway. People think it's a fake, a fraud, you're a phony, right? People only buy from people that they know, like, and trust.
Yes.
And that's very hard to convey online. Now, it's doable. It's doable. And we do lots of online stuff. We fill all of our tour spots online. We do webinars online. We sell online. But for the masses, it's just not the place to be. It's just not the place to be. You need to You need to do things that are person to person. That's the highest level of connection. The way we are right now, it's the highest level of connection. It wouldn't be the same if I was on the screen talking from somewhere else, because you can connect with people. You can feel their energies, right? You can get in connection with their spirits. You can't do that virtually. And so you want to get off of that, and you want to make relationships, build relationships, and learn sales offline to get the money that you need, so you can then go back online and build a presence.
I believe that, Monique. I truly believe that. That is profound.
That was great.
Thank you.
Wow. Now, some people, they're so addicted to the social media. So that it's a
now let me say something for those who are not going to listen to me, and they're going to go ahead and do it anyway. They're like, yeah, that's nice, Monique, whatever. Okay. So for those of you all who fall into that box, what I want to say is be mindful of your brand and what you want to put out in the world. You have to behave when you're posting. You must behave as if someone who is a potential client, customer, someone who might want to hire you is going to see it, right? So posting pictures with you at happy hour, drunk-ish, probably is not the best thing to do,
not going to help your brand.
If you're a business owner, you don't want to just post a whole bunch of personal stuff. Yes, you should post some personal stuff, but you don't want to just put up anything. You don't want to be cursing. I can't tell you how many people I've been of where I was going to hire them, and then I go check out their social media fingerprint, and it's a mess. And I say, absolutely not. I just can't, right? Because their brand reflects my brand. And if you start tarnishing my brand, then we have a problem, right? We have a problem. So you want to be cautious around all of that. Be mindful it is public. Be mindful that you, even if you delete it, it still exists. Did you all know, I just learned this recently, did you all know that there is a website out there that takes pictures of everything online at different times? The police department uses it a lot.
I believe it.
So that, let's just say if your site went down or something, there's a site where you could go and you can pull what your site looks like, because it already confiscated it. It already took copies of what it is. It captured it already. Exactly. So even though, and I've had clients come to me, oh my gosh, there's this picture. I put this picture up. How do I get it? You can't. You can't. You could take it down, but it doesn't mean that someone didn't screenshot it. Doesn't mean it's not posted somewhere else. So just don't do it. You're a business owner. Don't do it. Just don't do it. So be mindful of that.
Great question and great response. Let me read some of the comments on here. Renee Walker says most people become stubborn with fear and let it control them and shut down. She also says, so true, Monique, leave that personal mess to yourself. She says, I keep my page positive. And you know what? I do too. And then also I had to learn this on Facebook, not allowing people to just post to your page because they can just
tag.
Post.
The tag.
Anything. You have to go to my timeline. Yeah. So that's what I do. And then I don't share everything. People like share this or whatever. And
yes.
It has to be a certain standard before I do all that, because I have a brand.
You have a brand.
I have a brand. Yeah. Granny D, we thank you for watching. Appreciate you. Tracy Kincaid is on. Anthony Davis. Sherry Baker Murphy is on. Thanks for watching on today. We appreciate you. We're going to wrap up.
You're going to wrap up? Okay, it's two things I want to say.
Yes.
I have two quotes. I wanted to say one before, and I just thought of one right now when you said that. So I just want to mention a quote that I have regarding branding. And that is, your brand will show up long before you enter the room. Right? And it will stay long after you're gone.
Amen.
Yeah. So you want to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the second one that I had thought of some time ago when you were talking about people being afraid to take a chance is that I'd rather leap and have fallen than to never leaped at all.
Amen.
Yeah.
Regrets.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
When it's all said and done.
When it's all said and done. Oh my goodness. This is wonderful. Gwen, did you want to add anything else?
No, this has been absolutely wonderful. Now, I will admit, on my way here, I was talking to Annette, and she said, well, Gwen, she said,
we have to go to the workshop on Sunday. It's like, oh, I can't. I've got so much going on and this and that. And she said, well, it's in Madison. I'm like, okay, well, still, I've got so much going on. And I've got this and that, but I am there. I am there Sunday.
You will see us on Sunday.
Yeah,
I'm excited. I really am.
Thank you. I'm so excited to have you there.
Wonderful.
Beneficial because we have not even drilled deeper.
No,
so
we haven't.
We haven't.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. So glad you'll be happy that you came.
Okay,
Beautiful.
wonderful.
Beautiful.
And you all are more than welcome to come Sunday, or you can go tomorrow in Naperville. I don't know what area that you are near. Those of you that are watching and listening to us on today, please make sure I've placed the links in the comment section so that you all can go and they can register there, right?
They can register at revenuerevolutiontour.com and leverageupyourlife.com.
Yes.
Wonderful.
And
they can check out Women on the Move on Fox or a Fox affiliate Sunday at 1 p.m.
1 p.m. Okay, Dimitri, I see you on. So if you can go ahead and type all that in for me, if you wouldn't mind. That's my sister.
Thank you so much. I thought she would be here. She was so kind.
Yes, that was the one that was on the phone. She lives in Indianapolis.
Oh, okay.
So she's my virtual assistant.
She's your virtual. Wonderful. Look, virtual is terrific.
Oh my God.
Virtual is the thing. I talk about that on Sunday. You'll hear me talk about it.
Is that right?
Okay. Oh, yes, I love it.
Okay. Awesome. Well, we're in for a treat, I see. And I'm so grateful that we have made this connection on today.
Thank you.
Thank you for
and
taking
all
time
because
out.
Of Mr. Earl.
Mr. Earl, the other Winfrey.
Mr. Earl. Thank you.
Give you a thumbs up today, Earl. just today, okay?
Always, Earl. Always.
But no, he's the man with the plan. He really is. Entrepreneur in his own right, and he's doing his thing here. So I appreciate him and this time at Intellectual Radio. So thanks to all of my watchers, the listeners on today, supporting us, coming in with Annette on her day off. And listening to this special segment on today. Gwen, thank you again for taking time out today. Appreciate you.
Me.
And again, my thanks to you, Ms.
Thank
Monique.
you. And thank you for making the time and the opportunity for me to be here.
Oh, definitely. You just don't know who you've helped a lot of people today.
Oh, yes, you have.
You have helped a lot of people.
So.
And I am number one in line.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's terrific.
Wonderful.
That makes my heart sing.
Well, great. Well, I would love to hear you sing, actually.
No, not today.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I'll wait till you get in the studio and, get it out.
Yes. Next time.
Right. I mean, you never know what somebody can do.
That's right. Yeah.
I had my guest on Wednesday, and she was talking about how she can sing. Mm-hmm. Well, she sent me a clip after the show. And I was like, oh my God, you have an amazing voice. I didn't even know. So you just never know. You never know.
Oh, does she?
Yes, she does.
But she does as well. So I don't know.
I love that I'm inside of all this sisterly love here. My sister is, she lives in Naperville.
Oh,
and so you'll meet her on Sunday.
Beautiful.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm so happy that I'm in
Wonderful.
the midst of this.
Oh, that's great. Well, that's great.
I'm excited.
We're here with our new sister, Monique, on today, and she has enlightened us. There's been a plethora of information she's given us on today, so I'm so excited. So grateful. You guys look up the websites there so you can register. She needs to see you tomorrow and or Sunday, okay? Annette and Gwen will be in the house on Sunday, so you can see us there if you like. Just come on up to us and, say hi. Again, thank you for the time here, Earl. We are going to get out of here and maybe try and beat this little traffic here in Chicago. You know how it is. But it's nothing compared to New York, where she's from. My goodness. All right, we're going to get out of here until next time. We have 2 shows up next week, Wednesday, and then on Friday, we have another special show. So you all stay tuned to Mind, Body, and Soul. Don't go anywhere. Continue your support. We appreciate you. Until next time, I want you to soar and get caught up with Annette.
Get caught in a net.